that the value and the importance of that is to allow that exploration and freedom there, and not be too much influenced sometimes by religion. And I don't know how it is here, but sometimes, you know, if two men fall in love with each other, or two women fall in love with each other, sometimes that moralizing voice of religion has come in and have used words like unnatural. Where's that one? Who's such a human being who has such authority to make statements about what is natural and what is unnatural, about how love shows itself and how love expresses itself? Sometimes religion goes where angels fear to tread, as we say. And I remember a few years ago, a very good Dharma friend of mine, she said to me that she had been in relationships with men over the years. And in more recent years, she had fallen in love with another woman, and the woman had fallen in love with her. And it was a real change for her. Music's nice. And she said it was a real change for her, and she said to me, "How do you feel about it?" Because, you know, Christopher, because previously my relationships had been with a man, and now falling in love with a woman. The woman has fallen in love with me. How do you feel about it? And I said to her, naturally enough, well, of course, I fully understand. I feel exactly the same as you. Meaning, I also just fall in love with a woman. You know, just men don't do it for me. Forgive me, men. So I'm completely with you. You fall in love with a woman, lovely. I know just how you feel. It happens to me as well. Wonderful. So sometimes we look, and in our exploration, part of love and the intimacy of love is the capacity, with the wisdom and the clarity of our heart, to find ways. How can this show itself in life? What are the ways that it can find for expression? Sometimes in our relationships, and I'm not just referring here to the intimate relationship, that means the sexually intimate relationship, but any kind of relationship. One of the difficulties that we experience is how often in the relationship to love, the love itself, the great power of our species, is often watered down or neglected because it becomes conditioned or dependent on the event and the interpretation of the event between the two people or the group of people. So love, as it were, which is vast and immeasurable and extraordinary for human beings, somehow easily ties itself into how I feel about you and you feel about me, how I think about you and how you think about me. And in a way, that identification with how I feel about you and how I think about you and vice versa, in a way, is the greatest disservice to love. The values are the wrong way. And somehow or other, we have to find a way, and this is the challenge of the heart and of our humanity here, that no matter what, somehow or other, we stay true to love. We keep its preciousness in the center of our life. No matter what. No matter what others feel or think about us. No matter what others may say or not say about us. no matter how close or distant another or others may wish to be from us. That somehow or other we find the way, and it's the great way, of staying true to love. And perhaps in the potency and the power of it, it begins to have a personal, social and political influence. The holding to the view and the identification with the view, by very virtue of the holding, means that you and I will keep meeting a world in which some share some of our views, share a lot of our views, share none of our views. And always Dharma exploration is the capacity to hold the views very lightly, so that I can sense, just like I can see and hear as a sense, I can sense something deeper in which in somehow or other, this is important, the self and the other is not what love is about. That something deeper, something profoundly shared in common begins to inform the love. I begin to sense the common humanity of self and other. Whoever, wherever. I begin to listen more carefully to the common humanity. And I can hear and see the views and the opinions and that which is travelling through the air or words on paper, etc. I recognise that world is of differences and sameness, of conflict and meeting, and all that world goes backwards and forwards. But I've got enough depth in the being, in my humanity, to listen deeper than the voices of oneness and separation, togetherness and apartness. Sometimes we're with someone, we're in a relationship, a couple of people have had to leave the retreat because family members have been diagnosed with serious illness. Sometimes people come into our life and pass out of our life. Sometimes we don't understand why that is happening. Perhaps we've been in a relationship and have been very close to in that relationship, and the person has said thank you, au revoir, shalom, I'm off, goodbye, no more, thank you. And of course there will be, whether we're a Buddha or Shiva or just anyone, there will be some feelings of sadness in that. But is it possible for us, in spite of the sadness of loss, of separation, of a dissolution of a marriage, a dissolution of a relationship, the ending of togetherness, is it possible, in spite of that, to stay true to love? Sometimes we set conditions. One person got pregnant. The partner and had the baby, and the partner said, well, since we have a baby now, we should be together. We should live together and be together. And she said, I don't want to live with you. I would like, naturally enough, your support, as you're the father of the baby. I would like your support. And he said, all or nothing. I hear this voice regularly. All means we're together. We live together, we bring up the baby together, we share everything together. If you're not willing to do that, then you get no support. The baby gets no support and you get no support. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love for the mother? Where is the love for the baby? And sometimes we hardly realize, in the syndrome of the self and other, how much the ego, the self, becomes the replacement for the love.